My name is Amai Konkosi, founder and president of the Youth Life Project Zambia. I salute you, fellow citizens. Youth is boss. And as Youth Life Project Zambia, and as a youth indeed representing the welfare of the youth in this nation, Zambia, in the recent past, we've had social comments with regards to our socio-economic path, which our leaders especially have taken in this great nation. We want to be on record that we find it very outrageous, we find it very tragic, maligning. It is hysterical, especially for a leader who is appointed to utter such comments with regards to the welfare of the youth. We feel it is tantamount to sabotage, because the youth is the one who's holding the future. You see, youth is boss, and it is not in any right frame of any leader, especially political leaders, to look at youth like a liability, to look at youth like just something that you can play with. And I'm challenging my fellow youths to actually open their understanding, open their eyes to see that these leaders that they actually throw stones for do not mean well for them. These leaders that they actually carry pangas for, they don't mean well for them. We've reduced ourselves as youth, I think, to the level that we've allowed these leaders to now look at us like trash when the future belongs to us. We will not allow that as youth. We will not allow that as the citizen of this great nation, Zambia. We will not allow that. And we are calling for the youth across the nation to join in this campaign. There is so much mischief going on. There is so much unaccountability going on. I mean, youth is the greatest resource that this nation has. Not only is it the greatest resource, youth is also accounting for a good percentage of our population, amounting to 65% plus. And this translates to about 12 million of the current population that we are sitting on is youthful. So not only are we a great resource, it is our constitutional right to ask, to find out from our stewards, our servants, the politicians. We are the ones that put them in office, and we cannot fail to talk. We are the ones that put them in office, and we cannot fail to ask. It is just so disheartening to realize that when you exercise your constitutional right as a youth, then you should be sponsored by the opposition. We want to be on record again. We are a non-governmental organization that is not sponsored by any opposition, and we operate here in Zambia. And I'm speaking on behalf of many youths and for the welfare of the youth. We have questions that we need you, our servants, to respond, to answer us. We want accountability in the management of our resources. We want institutions that will be viable, institutions that will not work for a party, institutions that will not work to protect the presidents, institutions that will work to protect the general citizenry of this nation. We have heard so many cases that are under the anti-corruption, but with all these cases, some of them that we've seen, up to now, we've not had the verdict. Up to now, we've not had any arrest. We've got so many questions. Where are the 48 houses coming from? We've got so many questions with regarding our resources. So as the youth, we want to be on record. One, we want his head of state, the president, Edgar Chagwa Lungu, to look into the plight of the youth. It's never too late. We want accountability. We want to fight corruption. I'm actually calling on the head of state to look into this issue of corruption, which has eroded our society and our nation like a cancer. We are calling on him to take a reef of inspiration from the likes of his predecessors, like His Excellency Levi Patrick Mwanawasa, the way he fought tooth and nail to fight this cancerous act of corruption. We want him to take the lead. We've heard so many statements that are so disheartening. We've heard statements like Uwamba Mwibara Mwibara and the like. We've heard statements like Ngabaranda Tukule Tekulila Kumonembuto, but that's not what Zambia stands for. As the youth, the future belongs to us, and you as our stewards, with this period of time that we've entrusted you, we expect you to be so accountable, to take care of our resources, because we are not in any case winding up Zambia. We are not in any case liquidating this nation. We are not planning to fold this nation either. This nation, Zambia, the great nation of Zambia, is not for sale. We are going to stand proud and free, like our eagle on the flag. As the youth, we are very much aware, and we want to register our displeasure by the demeaning statements that we are receiving, the threats that we are receiving, starting from the Excellency of the Republic of this nation, Zambia, from the ministers. We are receiving threats all around. That's not good for democracy. This is not the democracy that we vote for. We cannot only be useful when it's time to vote. We cannot only be useful when it's time to kill our neighbors, to stone our neighbors. We cannot only be useful when it's time to run errands for political parties. And as a youth, sober-minded, representing a non-governmental organization, we've come out to register our displeasure that what we are calling for is investment. Why is it that in our nation, Zambia, we are prioritizing spending than investing? There is the issue of gold. We've contracted so much debt than we can comfortably bear, and as looking at it, we feel the coming up of gold mining, it is a blessing that will even help us as a nation resuscitate our bedridden economy. And what we are calling for right now is instead of spending money on fire tenders, the money that we are spending on bikes with the prices that are so ridiculous, we find it very disturbing and disappointed. If we have those resources, we are calling our nation and we are calling on the head of state to look into our plight as a parent. And not only as a parent, but we feel it is our democratic right that this nation continues to soar up in our economy endeavors. And as such, we want those gold mines, the money that they are calling for investments, it is the money that we can still find within ourselves. Therefore, we are rejecting the bringing in of the foreign investors. It is not necessary. That's a small thing that we can do as Zambia. That's a small thing that we can mobilize those resources locally. We have those resources. Let's prioritize and distribute resources equally and needfully as it matters, in the order of importance. Yes, so we need those things to be put rightly. Let's not be doing things for the sake of what we are going to benefit as the politicians, what you are going to benefit as the leaders. We want resources for the nation to be equally distributed and to be equally invested wisely. So therefore, we are calling for such measures from the head of state. One, to look into the issue of corruption. Corruption is too much. We can't breathe, Mr. President. We can't breathe. We can't breathe. We want to look into the issue of investment. We have the potential of comfortably paying back our debts if we can put our heads together and look into the issue of gold mining. We've got gold in Solwezi, we've got gold in Mumbwa, gold in Ufunswa, Chongwe. All these areas have gold. And these are not the only areas. We've got about 11 plus sites where we can mine gold and have the billions of dollars that we are looking for to pay back the debts. So we are calling for technocrats. We have enough economists in this nation that can actually help us to restructure our debts. We can team up and do something meaningful for the nation of Zambia. I think if we get to do that for our nation, Zambia, we'll do it with pride and courtesy. It won't be for money purposes only. And we feel that money that you are paying the foreign company to come and help us advise how we are going to pay back our debts, put into gold mining so that we can pay those same debts. As the youth, we are challenging you to do something about it. We feel there's lack of political will. It is a deliberate stunt by you, our politicians, to keep us youths on the lacking side, to keep us at bay so that you can use us, you can exploit us at your will. And for that, we say no, Mr. President, we can't breathe. As a youth from the Youth Life Project Zambia, we are saying we can't breathe. We are calling for proper investigations into the matters of corruption. We need answers. We need things to be done. We need a proper record. Look at the report that came from the Financial Intelligence Committee. Look at the report that came from the Auditor General's office. We feel there's too much trash going on. And as the youth, you are not taking care of our resources. We've not benefited from the national cake. It is not a cake for few individuals, we repeat. It is a cake for the nation. And as a youth, born and bred in this nation, Zambia, with a future in my hand, Mr. President, we call on you to change things. Otherwise, we will not stop talking because we are advocating for a better Zambia. It is not in our personal interest instead, but national interest. Mr. President, we are hungry and will not stop talking. Mr. President, degrees mean nothing. Businesses, they are not supported for the locals. And youth entrepreneurs are feeling the heat. We are calling on you to work on your policies and reforms so that this nation, the youth of this great nation Zambia, can also benefit from the national cake. I salute you, fellow citizens, especially the youth. I'm calling on every youth to rise up because youth is boss. Youth is the owner of the future. Youth is the one that will make change and bring prosperity to this great nation of Zambia. Youth is the one that will call for accountability and it comes to pass. Youth is the one that will raise questions to our servants, the politicians. Youth is boss. I repeat, youth is boss. We cannot breathe because of this corruption. We cannot breathe because of bad governance. We cannot breathe because of the threats that we are receiving. Youth is boss. Youth is boss. I'm calling on every well-meaning youth of this great nation Zambia to join hands together and campaign and cry for Mother Zambia. There's too much corruption. There's too much mismanagement of our resources. We need those resources for our children. We need those resources for us when we ascend to the helm. Youth is boss. Youth is power. The voice continues.